Hi there, this is Ashley Griffith with Fresh A Wave, and this is the video tutorial on how to use MyFitnessPal to input your food and physical activity. So just some prefaces here. I am using a desktop, so if you are using the computer version of MyFitnessPal, your interface will look exactly the same. If you're using the app on your phone, it'll look slightly different, but the process of entering in food and exercise will be exactly the same. Another note too, as our lovely advertisements on the screen are reminding us, we are using the free version of this app. We do not require you to sign up for the premium subscription for MyFitnessPal. We only need what the free version of this app gives us, so we are good with that. Last reminder here is that we are using MyFitnessPal to track you as the parent, your food and physical activity, and Lose It is what we use to track your child's food and activity level. And so before jumping right into breakfast, I think the very last step actually is, if you haven't already, you should have gotten an email asking you to confirm your email address for your MyFitnessPal account. So if you haven't done so already, please go and confirm your email before starting to enter food in, just to make sure that your account is fully connected to your email. Now, all of that being said and done, you can see there's a lot going on this page. There's a ton of resources that MyFitnessPal, even the free version, gives you. So I highly recommend going through and exploring and playing around on the app to see some helpful resources. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be doing just a short tutorial on how to use the app at the minimum level we're asking you to use it for. So to get to this food diary where I'm at, as on the desktop, you start on the My Home, and then you just click on the second tab, Food Diary, and then this menu will pop up. If you are on your phone version, there is a banner at the bottom. When you open the app, it typically opens to like a circle that shows you your daily calories. When you open the app, there is that banner. You click on the second icon on the banner which says Diary, and that will take you to this option as well. Last thing to note too is you can see the calories here. So the calories on here, they are giving me a recommendation based on the weight that I input, as well as level of physical activity and height. You can ignore that for now because we're going to give you more informed numbers using our calculation versus focusing on MyFitnessPal's calculation. So whatever this number says, you can ignore this for now. So going in to now input food. So for this first step, I'm going to input the breakfast here. I haven't input my breakfast yet. So for today's date, I'm going to go ahead and add breakfast. You can also add food for previous days as well, so you're not limited. Once the day's over, it's done. You can go back and do it. So as you can see, there's this menu tab bar here, and there's a bunch of different options. So what we're going to do is search on the search bar for our foods. However, once you start adding in more foods, they will show under the recent and the frequent tabs. So foods that you frequently log will be under the frequent, and then foods that you just recently input, I believe on the desktop, it's only within the past 48 hours. On the phone, it's like a huge scrolling tab of your recent foods. So it varies slightly there, but regardless, the most recent foods will be here. There's these other tabs where you can specifically input recipes. This is very recommended for recipes that require a lot of different ingredients. So instead of searching all the different pieces of the ingredients, you can one time search them and then title it, Family's Famous Spaghetti and Meatballs, and you can just click that one option and you're good to go. But as we're starting out, it's good to get used to the search options so we can be checking the calories and the nutrition labels of our food to make sure we're tracking it accurately. So for breakfast this morning, I had a Yakult. So I will go ahead and search that. That is this very small 2.7 fluid ounce container of yogurt. So I have that every single morning, and I know by memory that it is 50 calories, and I know by memory it is 2.7 fluid ounces. As you can see though, there's a bunch of different options here. There's original, classic, light Yakult, new Yakult, Yakult Plus. There's so many different things on here. So this is where it is really important to look at the nutrition labels or the food labels of your food as you are logging them to make sure you're logging it as accurately as possible. So like I said, I know this by memory that this is the right option, so I'm going to go ahead and choose it and then click Add Food to Diary. And then you can see, bam, we've got it right here. So then continuing to add the rest of my breakfast, I had some toast with some butter. And you can see we've already got the Yakult entered here for recent foods. So for searching the bread, I like Trader Joe's sourdough bread. So again, you can see we have some conflicting calorie information. This one, the first option says one slice is 100 calories. This says 43 grams, so the weight of the food is 130 calories. These other ones say one slice, 130 calories. So again, by memory, I know that one slice is 130 calories, but you can see that your first instinct might be to input this first option here. I think that makes sense. I think that's really clear. However, 30 calories that's decently significant, especially if we're working towards reducing our calorie intake by a certain amount a day. That can really add up. So I want to make sure I have the most accurate representation of what I've been eating. So as I said, I know that this is accurate. I prefer when it says one slice over 43 grams, so I'm going to choose this option. I only had one slice, so I'm going to add that to my food diary. And then I had some butter. So I'm also going to search for the butter, Kerrygold butter, because again, that's the brand that I have. So now again, we have similar calories, identical for the first three. However, now it is saying 1 tablespoon. I don't know about you guys, but when I am making breakfast or making meals, I am not always using measuring spoons. I just got a butter knife, put it into the container with the butter, and then I put that in the pan for the piece of toast. And I don't remember if it was a tablespoon or not. So usually when this happens, what we recommend is typically the serving size or the serving size and a half is how much we have had. The reason why I say 1 serving size to 1.5 serving sizes is in American culture, we definitely tend to have bigger portion sizes than other parts of the world. And so we do tend to have more of something than the typical serving size. And so I would recommend, again, either putting the typical serving size of 1 tablespoon or inputting 1.5. So just visually, I estimate that my piece of butter that I got today was probably closer to 1 tablespoon than 1.5. So I'm going to go with that. And then there you go. We've got breakfast input. I did have some more. Do not worry. I had eggs and some sausage as well. But just for the sake of time, I will just leave it at those options that we input. My calories, I believe, for breakfast ended up being about 550 calories, but you can see here partially my breakfast. It already has the added information on it. So now that is done with the food portion. You do the same process for lunch, dinner, and snacks. You can also input water amounts. So you can see that down here on the app. I'll just say I had 1 cup of water already today. Oh, it's asking me to, oh, it's adding the, there we go, never mind. You can click on the quick add or the add customs, but it adds it on to your daily amount of water you have drank. And then on the app, it also has this option as well. It is not as far down though. On the app, it is just exercise that is here and then water here. So a little bit easier on the app. And so now I'm going to go ahead and show you very briefly how to input exercise. Very similar format to food. You can see it looks the same format. It has my day here. I will note if there's any strength training that is done, the free version of MyFitnessPal does not do, it doesn't input the calories for that. So that is, you can still input it, but it won't impact the amount of calories that you have burned from that physical activity. But under this cardiovascular section, it does. And so I'm going to say I danced. I'm going to say I danced today. And, oh, interesting. You can see that it said it gave us no results. So then I'm going to go ahead and input a walk. And so you can see that MyFitnessPal is not as up to date with its menu options for exercises to add. Dance wasn't on there. I know on my phone, on my app, sometimes I can get dance to show up. So sometimes it's a little funky, but what you can do is just kind of modify, okay, I engaged in this physical activity. I wasn't able to find it on the app. So usually what I always like to do is do the walking equivalent of that activity. So I was dancing, so I would say dancing is pretty equivalent to an uphill walk for me personally. I do sweat, I'm not dripping sweat, but I do sweat, I am out of breath, and my heart is beating a little bit faster. It's not as much as if I was walking very, very fast, or if I was, for example, walking with an infant or carrying some weights or something. It was pretty decently equivalent to just a casual uphill walk where I start to sweat a little bit and my heart rate goes up. So that's what I will choose for that equivalent. And then it asks for how long did I do it. It could be one of those things, I didn't really time it, but typically maybe 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. That could be how long was I dancing for. It's just an estimate here. Then you add that exercise and then it shows up. Then when we go back to the food, you can see it logs all this information. And then as you go throughout your day, it adds the exercise as well. And so on the phone, it shows on the top banner your total amount of food minus the exercise that you have engaged in. So for example, let's say I only ate breakfast today and it was 280 calories, and then I danced for 30 minutes and that burned 280 calories. That would mean I still have my full daily calories to eat in that sense, if that makes sense. Basically, the app has an easier way to view that equation of how the physical activity is helping to your energy expenditure and that energy balance between food and physical activity throughout the day. So that is the brief tutorial on how to use MyFitnessPal to input your food and exercise. Thank you for listening.